Hello viewers, I'm Madam Kilinzo. Welcome to today's lesson. Today I'm going to take you through mathematics. The topic is fractions, and under fraction we are going to look at simplifying fractions.
Fly to the sky, fly, fly, fly. Take me up high, fly, green butterfly.
Okay. We said that a fraction is a numerical quantity that is not a whole. A fraction is a numerical quantity that is not a whole. For example, we have the fraction a half. So a half is not a whole. That's why we are saying it's a numerical quantity that is not a whole. And in a fraction, we have a numerator and a denominator. So we have a numerator and a denominator. A numerator represents the number that is at the top. That is the 1 in this fraction. And a denominator represents the number that is at the bottom. That is the 2. So a numerator means the parts that we are considering in a fraction. The numerator means the parts that you are considering in a fraction, and the denominator refers to the equal parts that are in a number. So here in this fraction, we are considering the numerator. How many parts you are considering? You are considering the 1, and the denominator, that is 1 out of the equal parts that are 2. So the equal parts are 2, but you are only considering 1 part. Okay, coming back to our subtopic, that is simplifying fractions. To simplify means to divide the top and the bottom number by the highest number that can divide both numbers, that is both the upper number and the bottom number. So for our first example, we have been given the fraction 21 out of 24. So before we start simplifying, we are going to look at the common divisor. Common divisor means a common number that can divide both the top and the bottom number. So 21 and 24, the common divisor of these two numbers is 3. Because if you divide 21 by 3, you'll get 7, and if you divide 24 by 3, you get 8. Oops, that was there. Okay. So as I have said, you look for the common divisor for the top number and the bottom number. So the common divisor between these two numbers is 3. That is, if you divide 21 by 3, you get 7. And if you divide 24 by 3, you get 8. So this fraction in its simple form, it will be 7 out of 8. I hope that is clear. Our next example, it will be 6 we are told to simplify this fraction 6 out of 10 in its simplest form. So first of all, I'll say, if you are given a fraction and you are told to simplify, you look at the common number that can divide both the numerator and the denominator. So here, a common number that you can divide by 6 and by 10, it will be 2, which will give us 6 divided by 2 will get 3, and 10 divided by 2 will get 5. So 6 over 10 in its simplest form, it will be 3 out of 5. I hope that is clear. Our third example, we are given 9 out of 12. So 9 out of 12, we are looking at the common divisor that can divide both the numerator and the denominator. So the common divisor here is 3, because 9 divided by 3 will get 3, 12 divided by 3 will get 4. So this fraction in its simplest form, it will be 3 out of 4. I hope that is also clear. And now fourth example, we have 14 out of 21. We are given 14 over 21 as a fraction, and we are told to simplify it. So we are going to start by 2. We can see 2 can divide the numerator, but 2 cannot divide the denominator, so we can't pick 2. Let's go to 3. 3 can divide the denominator, but it cannot divide the numerator. 4 cannot divide both the numerator and the denominator. Number 5, also it cannot divide the numerator and the denominator. We go to number 6. Number 6 also does not divide both numbers. We go to number 7. 7 can divide 14 by 2, and also 7 can divide 21 by 3. So we'll pick number 7. So it will be 14 divided by 7, which will be 2, and 21 divided by 7, which will be 3. So the fraction 14 over 24 in its simplest form, it will be 2 out of 3. I hope that is clear. We go to our last example. And our last example, we are given 15 out of 20. We are told to write it in its simplest form. So we start by number 2. Number 2 can divide only the numerator, but it cannot divide the denominator. So we cannot pick number 2. We go to number 3. Number 3 can divide the numerator, but it cannot divide the denominator. So we cannot pick number 3. We go to the next number, that is number 4. Number 4 can divide the denominator, but it cannot divide the numerator. So we can't pick it too. We go to the next number, that is number 5. Number 5 can divide the numerator and also the denominator. So we are going to pick number 5. That is 15 divided by 5 will get 3. 20 divided by 5 will get 4. So this fraction in its simplest form, it will be 3 out of 4. I hope that is also clear. Okay, in this example, we are given the fraction 12 out of 18. So there are other fractions you can divide by more than 2 divisors. That is, for example, if you are given this fraction that is 12 out of 18, we can start by 2, because 2 can divide both the numerator and the denominator. So 12 by 2 we get 6, and 18 by 2 we get 9. So we cannot only stop at 6 out of 9, because the fraction 6 out of 9, there is also another divisor that can divide this fraction. So we can further divide it. So the common number, it is 3. 6 by 3 will get 2, and 9 by 3 will get 3. So this fraction in its simplest form, it will be 2 out of 3. So there are other fractions whereby you can divide by more than 1 divisor. So if you get such fractions, you have to divide it further. Don't leave it hanging. Okay, here we have another fraction which you can divide by more than 2 divisors. So we have 12 out of 48. So our common number that we can divide both the numerator and the denominator is 2. Let us divide 12 by 2. We shall get 6, and then 48 by 2 we shall get 24. So we cannot leave it here because we can also divide further. So let us divide again by 2. By 2 here, 6 will get 3, and then by 2 will get 12. So 3 out of 12, there is also another divisor that can divide both the two numbers, that is 3. So it will be by 3, we get 1, 12 by 3, it will be 4. So 12 out of 48 in its simplest form, it will be 1/4. I hope it's clear. So we are seeing this number has more than two common divisor. So you should not leave it there. You should not leave it hanging. So if it can be divided further, make sure you divide it. Our next example, we have 30 out of 40, and we are told to simplify the fraction. So as I have said, we are going to look at the common divisor that can divide both the numerator and the denominator. So we are going to start by number 2. 2 can divide both the numerator and the denominator. So 30 by 2 will get 15, 40 by 2 will get 20. So our fraction is 15 out of 20. But there is also another common divisor that can still divide this fraction. That is number 5. So 15 by 5 it will be 3, and 20 by 5 it will be 4. So 30 out of 40 in its simplest form will get 3 out of 4. I hope that is also clear. So the fraction is 16 out of 24. We are going to look at the common divisor that can divide both the numerator and the denominator. So we are starting with number 2. 2 can divide the numerator and the denominator. So let us divide. 16 by 2 shall get 8, and 24 by 2 shall get 12. So 8 over 12, we can divide it further. There is also another common divisor. Let us divide, that is 2. So 8 by 2 it will be 4, and 12 by 2 it will be 6. So 4 over 6, we can simplify it further. That is, the common divisor it will be 2. So 4 by 2 it will be 2, and 6 by 2 it will be 3. So 16 out of 24 in its simplest form it will be 2 out of 3. I hope that is also clear. The fractions that cannot further be simplified, you just leave them as they are. But there are other fractions like these ones that I've given, they can be simplified further. So you can simplify. Okay, I have some homework for you, and the question is, simplify the following fractions. Number 1, we have 6 over 8. Number 2, we have 3 over 15. Number 3, we have 24 over 42. Number 4, we have 12 over 16. Number 5, we have 18 over 24. Number 6, we have 15 over 25. And as I have said, there are other fractions that you can simplify further. They have got more than 2 divisors. So if you get such a fraction, don't leave it hanging. Simplify it further. Okay, we have come to the end of our lesson. Thank you for your time. Let us meet in our next lesson. Bye bye.
Sing and dance, raise your hand.